G'day everyone, and welcome to the Risky Rollers podcast. I'm Dalton, and I'm joined by Locky.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up?
And by Ikon.
Hello!
And we've got some exciting stuff happening today. As we speak, this is the final day to submit lists for our event, which is our organised play event. 40k is the way. 16-player organised play event happening in Moorabbin next Saturday. So today, as this comes out, this Saturday is the last day to submit lists for that. So if you are attending and haven't, make sure to do that.
Yeah,
and we're going to be chatting.
Don't muck around. Get your lists in.
Yeah. We'll be carefully reviewing those and putting those up on Monday for everybody.
Yeah.
Wait,
Monday?
So today will be...
Oh, yes, Monday. Okay.
Yes.
So much Monday to do this weekend.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And...
Better you than me.
Yeah. And speaking of what Icon's got to do, he's been prepping his Black Templars for the event.
Yes, nearly ready. Except I changed my list.
They're coming along... Nice. They're coming along
so now
very
I have
well.
to paint one more vehicle.
So we're chatting to him about what it's been like preparing for it, and what he's looking forward to, and just his experience with prepping for the event. Before we get into that, I'd like to say a massive thanks to Tim at Dice Arcade, absolute legend. We'll hear from him a bit later on, and to check out our Discord and our Patreon. Our Discord is where it's at. We've just added a bunch of new channels, especially all the different army stuff. Had a bit of fun with that. So much chat going on there, so much hobby, so much community. It's great.
It's been going a lot lately.
Yeah.
Since you guys went to Heresy, certainly put yourselves out there, and people have responded in a really awesome way. And the growth has been really cool.
Yeah, cheers. And it's been fantastic to see it happen. There's my favorite bit about it at the moment is the slow grow, the hobby commitments, the tale of a number of wargamers. Which is happening, which is really sweet. And it's just a bunch of people committing to painting up a set number of units and stuff for a month, and then doing it and having a grand old time.
Yes,
so jump on into the Discord.
Seeing that progression has been really, really awesome, actually.
Yeah.
It's been really cool.
Specific shout out to Kaiju Shorts, and he is sweet as molten corn demons.
Oh, yeah, they are cool.
They are sick.
His real name's Al, by the way, so you can just say shout out to Al.
Yeah. Shout out to Al, but everyone who's in the Discord will know him as Kaiju Shorts.
That's true.
And everyone on Instagram, so go check him out. That's been really cool. So jump on in there, get involved, show us your hobby, chat with us about all the crazy new leaks and rules and things, and some of the old ones, because they come up every now and again, like combat squads, apparently. So yeah, jump on in there, hang out.
And even for games, and even if you're a new player, so we've actually, I think yesterday we had two new people come in, and a few of recently we've had some new people jump in, as in new to the hobby, sort of organising for them to either play on TTS with, which we kind of have some material to show the process of how to get running on TTS, and then also either playing with another newer player or playing with an experienced player that can help show them the ropes and sort of thing. So that's something that's kind of been pushed. We've been pushing a bit as well. And
it's also, if you are Melbourne located, we do run regular game days or club days out in Moorabbin. So if you are Melbourne based and you want to find somewhere to play games or just get involved with a regular group, jump on in there, because that's where we organise it all. That's where you can find the information and be involved.
Yes.
Everyone is welcome.
Everyone is welcome.
Fantastic.
Unless you're an Eldar player, which means you can go away.
Anyone going to tell Charlie?
Join us.
Don't
we've been trying to kick Charlie out for months.
Yeah. No.
If I hit expert crafters one more time, I'll cry.
But yes, that's great. And if you want to support what we do, etc., Patreon's the place to be. You've got exclusive narrative campaign, which we are hard at work on expanding, because we've got some great, cool stuff happening there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got early bet rep access, so it all comes out there. An exclusive pre-game show, which is our podcast where we discuss lists and tactics and strategies for the upcoming battle report, as well as a bunch of other stuff like t-shirts, which have finally reached the first patrons getting t-shirts.
They have, yeah.
Which is cool. That was pretty exciting.
That was. Was it very exciting to see people in their t-shirts being like, thank you, what's up. So, yeah, that's really cool.
And then their wives and girlfriends being like, take it off and wash it.
or like take it off and burn it.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that, but I definitely saw a few. I got in trouble for wearing this for 3 days straight.
Oh yeah.
I saw a few of them.
Yeah.
But yeah. So back to today, Locky.
Yes.
And I'll get through everyone here, but I'll start with you, Locky. What have you been up to recently?
Well, I feel like I'm a bit of a broken record with this. I'm just not really getting much done at the moment. You know, coming back into
Which is a problem given how much needs to happen this weekend.
I know. No, I was in painting models, not too much. So actually, I finished one squad of Plague Marines. You would have seen.
I saw that.
Follow me on Insta. You would have seen my awesome reel. Yeah, I love that.
I
love that drop. It's probably one of the best drops I reckon in like modern music. Yeah, so I did that. I've got a bit of smashing some more out tonight to get ready for filming.
Yep. Actually, I feel like we should acknowledge this somewhere. We have pushed back our Necrons and Death Guard Battle Force bat rep.
Yes, obviously, because we wanted that nice, relevant GSC and Custodes content to come out first. So I have been working on not much aside from that, really. Kind of prepping for the event, really. That's what I've been doing, and then just feeling the woes of getting back into the working life and everything kicking back to normal, which is really annoying because all I want to do is paint big bugs in GSC, which is just like, but I have to do this stuff that I have to do.
So it's pretty sweet, and yeah, the tournament prep has been crazy. We've got a lot to do. Ikon, how about yourself? What have you been up to?
All right. Well, so prior to the announcement of the tournament, I had an easy 2,000 points of Black Templar painted. Unfortunately, with the new book coming out, they weren't the 2,000 points of anything that I needed.
Yes.
So it's been basically just paint 2,000 points. I've been playing games probably at least once, sometimes twice a week between there and the announcement and now. I still
have been very prolific.
Yeah, well,
games happening all the time.
Yeah. I've been actually trying to limit it more to at least once to twice a week, and then making sure I'm getting plenty of painting done. And right now, in this last minute or this last week, I've got one tank to paint and some Vanguard veterans to touch up, and we're good to go. Yes, we decided last week, or I decided last week, that I'm adding a whirlwind to my list, because it's they're great. Fights Last is great, and Indirect Fire is great, and they're just great. better than the bikes that I had before, that's for sure. And holding backline objectives, all these sorts of things. But yeah, no, these are the things I've been doing, and then just trying to get as many reps in against as many different things, and as many different factions. Like I played AdMech for the first time since they had their rules, or what's it called, the data slate? Yeah, the nerfs.
Yeah.
No, but I was trying to reference what's it called? Is it called the data slate?
The data slate.
Balanced data slate.
Yeah. It was the first time I played into them since then, and this is one of those things where I'm like, geez, I really should have been playing into these things a lot more, because they're still decent.
Oh no, AdMech is still very much there. They just, the problem is they don't have the numbers, as in like people just aren't playing them. But
people aren't playing them because it's no longer walk in the park easy.
It's not point and click.
But they're
Which
not.
Which is a good thing.
Oh yeah, it is a good thing. But when that what's it called, solar flare?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, when that happened, I didn't like that. That wasn't fun at all. That was some real Grey Knights level, and now I'm over here type thing. I didn't like that one bit. But yeah, just trying to get some variants. I played into you, Locky, the other day against Gene Stealer Cults, and that was super awesome. They're fun.
They are fun.
The whole vehicle lookout sir thing is like, you could make that really painful, I think.
Yeah, so it's a rule. It's a rule that that doesn't come up in the bat rep, because
oh really?
didn't know it was there.
Oh.
They just have so many rules. Yeah, so the Jackal Alphas being able to essentially make a vehicle a bike or a vehicle untargetable within 6 if it's not the closest
That's
unit.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, didn't know I
Yeah.
had that. So it's like you can protect sort of backline, ridge runner, long range shooting, and yeah.
And
it's
then
cool.
it's sort of like bodyguard, right? The bike doesn't even have to be visible, right? But it's still untargetable. It's just vehicle bodyguard, really.
Yeah. So it's you're protecting the vehicle with the character, and then if you're over 9 wounds, the character can't be shot either because it's lookout surge. So it's literally just that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a bit. I didn't even consider that. That's a bit.
So you just literally
What do I do about that?
Yeah.
nothing.
I mean, you just get close to it.
Yeah,
I
you just have to
guess.
get closer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Still.
Yeah. No, sweet. That sounds good.
And yourself, Dalton? What have you been doing?
Myself? Well, I have been doing a bunch of things. Of course, we've got the event happening, so I've been preparing terrain for that. I've still got so much to do for that. And I've been building and painting some Necrons for the same Necron and Death Guard battle report. I've still got some to go, which I will be smashing out this weekend, because we need that on Monday to film.
We do.
Which is 2 Doomstalkers, a unit of Ophidian Destroyers, and of course the Plasma Sight, the Psychomancer, and 5 Flayed Ones.
Oh my god, I could not paint.
You are actually.
I could not paint that amount of models.
You're a freak, man. That's.
It is currently all sitting primed white in a box. That will be getting painted up and ready for the battle report in 2 days' time. So.
I like to tell myself I'm committed to my hobby, and then this guy talks, and I'm like, I'll just get back in my corner.
Well, no, commitment is like carefully planning and making sure to do it over a nice, relaxed time period, not leaving it up until the last weekend.
Yeah, but in saying that, skimping out on painting Necrons to paint your red Corsairs was 100% worth it, because they are epic.
Yeah, that's
Cheers,
true.
man.
They
And
are
that is 100% what I've been doing, because I've just been feeling chaos all week.
Way cooler
month,
way cooler than Necrons.
I was about to say, don't even think about finishing that sentence, because this is Ikon's last appearance on the podcast, everybody.
Come on, Chaos are way cooler than Necrons. Everyone knows it.
Welcome to the Dalton podcast, where it's just me and I rant about how cool Necrons are for the next 3 hours.
We'll just get Smithy back on, and you and Smithy can just have like a gush session.
And
the
Bailey,
whole thing's in binary.
Yeah.
10000.
But yes, I've been painting up some chaos and loving it. Chosen and the Lord, which I finished a couple of weeks ago. And I've just finished a Forge Fiend, which I've just been chipping away at all week. And I'm really happy with it. It's good fun. Got some hazard stripes, got some sweet green glow effects. I think I managed to balance the red and green without making it look like a Christmas Forge Fiend.
So, Now, since I told you about that, you can't unsee it now, can you?
Exactly, yeah. Like anytime red and green is anything, it's like, all right, is this a Christmas thing or is it not?
That's what every time I see Blood Angels with green power weapons, I'm like, Christmas Marines. And now I can't unsee it.
Yeah. So that was a big one, but I'm pretty happy with how that came out. Tried a different technique for painting up that the green glow. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, as well as creating some new shows and stuff for the channel.
Yes, we have.
You will be seeing this weekend the first of 2 Codex reviews, which is the Adeptus Custodes one, which came out quite well. I'm quite happy with the result, given the way we filmed all that. The Genesteel Cult one will follow shortly after. We've just had, with everything going on, preparing for the organised play event next week. 40k is the way. In preparing for that, we've just had so much happening. The Genesteel Cult one has, unfortunately, we've had to push the recording back, but that will still be coming out in this next week. So you'll be able to see our thoughts on that book as well. In addition, we've also been organising a giveaway for those 2 books.
Yes, we have.
So if the day this releases, the Adeptus Custodes and Genesteel Cult Battle Report also releases alongside it. So if you want to win either the Genesteel Cult or the Adeptus Custodes Codex, which we have a brand new copy of each, still in shrink wrap, straight from Tim at Dice Arcade, ready to go. If you want to win either of those books, make sure to go over to the Battle Report video. And I can't stress enough, there will be an announcement video for the for the giveaway, as well as the battle report itself, go to the battle report video. Make sure to like it, be subscribed, and comment with which book you would like to win. And just for a bit of fun, let us know why that army is a cool one, because we want to chat with you, want to hear your thoughts.
Or why you don't like them. Yeah.
Yes, that too.
I want to win this book so I can put it in the bin.
If you want to win a book just to burn it because you hate custodians, do it, video it, and send it to us.
Oh my god, I'm so gonna. If we do a competition for the Eldar book, I'm literally gonna do that. I'm gonna do it. Not at all because I think it's gonna be broken, just because it's like, no Eldari, die.
Or if they ever bring a squat book out, I just imagine you buying pallet loads.
Bro,
and just burning them.
He would buy shares in it just to put it under.
Yes, I would tank it. I'd full, insider trading. I'd even burn every dictionary because it might have the word squat in it. Nah, gotta go. Gotta go.
But yes, if you want to win either of those books, make sure to do that one. We will be essentially collating 2 pools of entrants. One who commented for the Custodes book, one who commented for the Genes to the Cult book, and randomly drawing the winners. You can only enter once. We're only counting each user once. So, just jump down there, throw your hat in the ring, and have a good time.
That's it. Got to be in it to win it.
Exactly. So, that pretty much sums all of that up. There is one more piece of bookkeeping which I forgot to mention at the top. And that is for everyone who is attending 40K is the Way. Unfortunately, the coronavirus has not yet left Melbourne. Nurgle is still hard at work to conquer this city. So what we're planning to implement, we've updated the player pack and made an announcement about it. What we're planning to implement is rapid antigen tests on the day of, just to make sure that everyone is COVID free and it's a safe event. That said, we are struggling with procuring them. So if you get the opportunity to have a PCR in the days leading up to, please do. That would be very helpful. Otherwise, we're going to do our best to ensure we have enough rapid tests for everybody.
Or potentially, if you guys can get your hands on ones for yourselves. I'm not saying you have to get one for yourself, as in we're going to try and supply ones for you. But
yes, absolutely.
If you do have an opportunity to get one for yourself, just keep it with you and bring it. Just to potentially that. Look, we're trying to do everything we can. We don't want the event.
We just want to make sure it's a safe event where everyone can come along and have a great time and feel safe and exactly. Not have any problems.
Yeah. So So yeah, that's that.
Speaking of 40K is the Way.
Yes.
Let's have a quick word from Tim, and then Ikon. Let's chat to you a bit about how you've been preparing.
dicearcade.com.au. All the biggest brands of miniatures and wargaming. Free postage over $250.
All right, thanks for that one, Tim. So, Ikon, you've been preparing for 40K is the Way, our first organised play event. What? How have you found? You've already mentioned that you've been busy painting and busy playing. What sort of things have you been thinking about, and how are you feeling about it?
Given how my list has been performing, I'm feeling somewhat comfortable. Like not comfortable. That's not the right word.
Confident.
Feel like confident in my list at least. That the potential is there to do well. I mean, the Black Templar book has definitely grown on me to the last podcast where we discussed it.
Yep.
I think that's a bit of a global feeling.
Yeah, well,
it 100% has sort of crept up.
It really comes back to that guy who won that tournament over in the States. Pretty sure it was the States, and everyone was like, "Hold on, he did what?"
It was Jack Harpster, right? Was it Jack Harpster?
I don't know. I honestly don't remember. But I sort of looked at that list and I was like, it can't be this simple, right? Like, he can't have done all this with this. And sure enough, I tested his list and I was like, and it performed quite well. And then since then, I've just been working backwards and making subtle changes here and there. And to be like, my list is nothing like that list now, but finding that solid foundation really helped me understand how good this book actually is. And when it comes to Space Marines,
it's
one
of those things.
Maybe not. Is it up there? Definitely.
Yes, for sure.
It depends how you. It depends how you define best too. You know, like, is it best from a? Because it's hard to distinguish best when you sometimes
unless you're AdMech.
No, I mean within such a subgroup, because you have so many different facets. Like, as in, you're not getting the Black Templar numbers that you are, say, getting White Scars and Space Wolves and stuff. So, like, sometimes it's really hard to say. Like, I mean, I think you've still won more.
You just don't have the sample size to do it.
Exactly.
But I mean, as far as the samples we do have, your list is doing very well, and you're playing it very well. I think the level of dedication you've shown to getting a grip with your book is admirable, and it's paying off.
Yeah, it is paying off. It's very, I guess, exciting to know that I stand a chance at making a good showing of this, particularly because after this event, we're all going to Masters, and if I win just one game there, if I win just one, I'll be over the moon.
Yeah. Just very quickly, I want to come back around and touch on what you mentioned earlier about you've taken a list that somebody else wrote and did well with, and sort of reverse engineered how it works. This is something that I don't think is mentioned enough when people talk about looking over tournament lists or playing with tournament lists.
I think they call it netlisting.
You call it netlisting, but a lot of the time people go either, all right, I'm just going to copy the list, or I'm going to take the list and change it so it doesn't look like it's the same list. And like, while I'm sure lots of people have done, and most people that do it would do exactly what Ikon's done, which is sort of reverse engineer and look at the way it works, it's not something that's really explained very much as to what that process entails. Which is basically you take a list and you go, all right, you play the list or as near to it as you can with the models you've got on hand. You play the list itself and just try and find out what it is that makes that list work, because even the most busted of orc buggy lists, when they were a thing, there would still be a way to play it wrong.
Oh, 100%.
And a way to play it right.
100%.
Yeah.
And so, and tournament players are playing it right. Like, they're like people who are winning big events, even if they're bringing a list with like an 80-something% win rate, they're still playing not in the 20% that loses. They're still playing it correctly. And so what you can do is you can take this list and go, well, the list itself might be good, but it's only good if you play the list correctly.
Black Templar is a really good example of this, right? Because
exactly.
You go to the last podcast where you basically hear me whinging going, they don't do what they used to do and blah, 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 blah. And at that point, I hadn't found what they do now, and I was still trying to play the army as what they did before, which was the devout push and back then you had advance and charge. And
you had all the movement shenanigans.
Yeah, you had all the movement shenanigans.
They're almost like the fast foot army.
Yeah, you were really fast for someone who's just apparently running 6 inches, and then you're chucking Canticle on, and now you're piling in and consolidating 12, but then you're devout pushing as well, and you're moving like 18 inches with a squad of infantry. And you're like, how the hell did that happen? And when they took all that away, I was like, oh, geez, what's going on? And then, seeing that tournament winning list and playing it stock standard, just carbon copy for the first time, and I was like, let's just see what happens. Let's just see. And that was when it tweaked for me that I was like, this is a durability army, because the baby transhuman and the 5-up invulnerable on everything comes in clutch all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Like, when you're...
Sorry, go.
Yeah, go.
No, you're right.
When you're fighting to Death Guard and they're swinging the Man Reapers at you, and they're no longer wounding on 2s, and you get a save regardless of how much they hit you, it's
a game changer. It really is.
If you're rolling 2 5s out of a 5-man squad of Intercessor and saving those, and saving 2 out of 5, and that combat's now prolonged, those Death Guard aren't going anywhere.
Or it still wins you. It still holds you the objective. Like, if they're if they're using Death Shroud or whatever that aren't obsec, and they're trying to kill your obsec thing, and now your obsec troops aren't dying, even if you had a bigger squad and you need to auto pass morale, you just do it and guarantee it, as opposed to them just being dead. And
Exactly.
you've seen the same thing with Crush Stampede. An army-wide 5-up invulnerable save plus neg 1 damage. I know you don't have neg 1 damage, but Baby Transhuman, you could argue, well, neg 1 damage is stronger, but it's the same 2-pronged durability increase, right? And it skyrocketed them, I guess, to compete better in the really killy meta, or the really killy game that we exist in right now, right? So, the durability buffs 100% is the way is looking pretty strong overall.
And that's the other thing I use to mitigate the not having neg 1 damage is I've got a pretty substantial amount of Feel No Pains in my list, in auras and from chaplains and apothecaries.
There's a surprising amount of access to them in the book that we didn't really touch on.
Well, you've got your apothecary, which is the 6-up.
Yeah.
But then, as Black Templars, you've got access to the 2 different litanies. You've got if you take 2 chaplains, not that I do, but if you wanted to, you take 2 chaplains, one with the Litany of Faith aura, that is very convenient because it affects core, so you're giving Feel No Pains to Dreadnoughts. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Please explain, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, just Band-Aid on a Dreadnought, it's fine. But then, because if you take a second chaplain and you take the second discipline, then you can also take Litany of Divine Protection and give a squad a 5-up Feel No Pain as well. So you can have 3 Feel No Pains covering your board left to right, no problem.
Yeah.
Does Helbrecht give his own one within a range?
His aura's +1 strength, which...
Oh, right.
It's good. It's like, it's not always good, because if you're, like the other day you saw into Genestealer cults, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be 3s regardless, because toughness 3 into strength 4 or strength 5, it's going to be 3s. But when it's Death Guard Custodians, it's a big deal, because it's 5s to 4s. 5s to 4s and then you've got assuming obviously Hellbreak has to be there, so you're re-rolling 1s to hit as well, or everything if you gave that squad the Chapter Master re-rolls.
Or Litany of Hate.
No,
this is really demonstrating that idea, and that's where it comes from. Even though your list now looks entirely different to the list that won the tournament, in playing a list that you know works, you can often find out what it is about the army that you're supposed to be doing, or what you can be doing.
It uncovered that durability aspect, and since finding that, I was like, well, this is the way we play now. Now we wait for you, we hold our objectives, you take those secondaries like banners and stuff. Since the new book, in most missions, banners pays for itself 8 games out of 10.
Yeah.
Because once you're on that objective, you are so hard to shift.
Yeah, well, that's what also helps, I think, in this situation, is that you have a decent secondary game, like, across the board with this list too. Where you're not, like, having to double down or into certain tech options, like you're not building for, say, like, is it called To the Last now, or is it called While We Stand? It's To the Last, right? Yeah, To the Last.
It's To the Last. Yeah.
To the Last, or some of these other, like, janky ones that might be counterable, or more easily counterable. So I think you're lucky. And I do say lucky in the sense that your secondary game does kind of mirror your list construction as your army's purpose. Innately, which is
what
good.
You're saying. Yeah, you take the secondaries that hold your ground, and then your army supports that, as opposed to being taking those secondaries and just being squishy as or something.
Yeah, that's right. I think one of the biggest things that may potentially hinder GSC is not having great I mean, who knows when Thingo changes?
I don't know. I reckon the one you played the other day was pretty good.
That one's cool.
One's great. It's the GSC version of Oath of Moment, and you just like.
The problem is its position. It takes up Engage or Rod. So
Rod is overrated. No one I know remembers.
It definitely will be next week.
Well, not for GSC, it'll be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
It's not going to hinder them at all. Yeah, that too. Yeah. So, like, I think it's and who knows, the primary game might change significantly with Chapter Approved. Well, it will change significantly with Chapter Approved. We're now getting all the other armies getting at least one direct secondary, which the Chaos Knight one is awesome. The Chaos Knight one is pretty much like an auto 15 every game.
Well, I mean, they don't have anything else
sucks.
going for them, so...
They do, yeah, of course they do. Chaos Knights are awesome.
Compared to Imperial Knights, though, they're not.
I reckon they're better. Personally, I think they're better because the army wants...
Bookwise?
The army wants you to leverage Moiraxes and War Dogs, which are your obsec bodies. So I think it gives you more of an actual points game where you just take 1 or 2 big knights, which are your big shooty ones. So not the Tyrant, but like the Despoilers.
Megara.
No, not the Megaras, the 2 Despoilers. And then you just take like 50% Moiraxes, 50% War Dogs, and just go through at the board. And then with this secondary, pretty much just like you kill anything, you get points. I think it'll be really good. I mean, it's really tasty being able to pick and choose, giving units +1 damage, or T8 Moiraxes running around, annoying.
Yeah. Sorry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be annoying.
Yeah. Are they T8 Moiraxes?
No, they're T7, but you can get them to T8.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's gross.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
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 Ooh, yeah.
So it's not one of those
Yeah,
D3 rolls for each one, and it's like you either get increase to movement, increase to toughness, or increase to damage. So you can either
all
take
those things are good.
Yeah, or you can take D3 mortal wounds and just
choose
and choose. So, but I mean, usually the build is basically you sit with a Despoiler or a Tyrant, which are the Tyrant's the Castellan, the big one, and you just put +1 damage on every. So every weapon has got +1 damage, which is just like okay,
but
whatever.
Is there a Chaos house that's the same as I think it's Crass that heals 1 wound every turn? Is there a Chaos equivalent of that?
Nah. So the books in itself are better, also because of the fact that there's the AdMech side. So because you can utilize like Questor the AdMech side, which gives you like is it Metallica? No. What's the one from the Rising?
Metallica.
It is
from Caradon.
Yes. Yeah. That one. So there's like a whole supplement built for them. You can take the Freeblade list, which basically makes all your big knights obsec. So, which is sometimes harder to do, but also at the same time, now that we're going into things like epic tank killing Tau, and Eldar is going to be around the corner, which is just going to snipe everything off the table. Having more targets that are reasonably durable, I still think is going to be better. It's kind of like MSU vehicles, right? Like that's kind of what you're playing as opposed to not.
In theory, it sounds good. Like the whole T8 Moirax, it's basically a big scale equivalent of what my list is doing. It's durability and obsec everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is
I can really see it working in the current meta where there's the durability's on the rise.
Well, I hope that's kind of where they. I mean, look, it's
an interesting design choice to be buffing durability so much at the moment, given how much time they've spent buffing killiness.
Well, then just about to make it even more killy. We were talking about this off.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't think they do. I think durability is better. Less killy is good.
No,
I think we've gotten to the point in the game where too much stuff dies too easily.
Yeah, no, I know, I agree, but I'm saying they're making it even more killy with Tau ignoring Invo.
But we were talking about this
like everywhere
earlier.
They're getting heaps of it.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But I'm not against it because under the premise that Tau still fold like a cheap suit, in the sense that I don't mind if they're super killy, if they're also super not
weak.
Durable.
Yeah,
not weak. Weak's the wrong word, but not durable. Because then you get this high movement glass cannon list, which I think represents Tau pretty well.
It does, yeah.
It is sort of
and then like you throw a unit of
Drukhari thing, but that's what Tau also are. Like I don't know. You speak Tau. What's the one where they run around and shoot you?
That's the Koyon, the patient hunter.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
But yeah, see, it's a good point. And Tau do feel slightly different to Drukhari in that Tau are an army of synergies. They're a glass cannon army of synergies. And if
they
you
can't
balance...
fight to save their lives, unlike...
Well, actually, okay. That's actually... I love that that's a bit of the lore, because the whole idea, and it's hilarious, it's a tire tangent, sorry, but Tau don't know they're bad at combat. like
really?
Because well, you can see them like carrying little swords and stuff. They do train in like close combat, but as a species, they're just not good at it. Like they don't have muscle mass. They don't have those sort of coordinated reflexes that other species do.
Why would you need it when you?
So they have all these martial traditions and things where they do like honor duels or not honor duels, but like ceremonial duels and things. And they do fight each other. They do duel, and they come to the battlefield. Like these fire warriors come to the battlefield, being like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm the pinnacle of soldiery with my like crazy plasma gun." And they get close, not whatever, man. Like it's not like anyone's going to become like charging up in a modern warfare environment. I can shoot them, and if they get close, not a problem. I've got my trusty little whatever they call them, bonding daggers and stuff. I can fight off. And then, like, a Space Marine walks up, and they're like, "Holy shit! Is that a fucking chainsword?"
But the thing is, though, like, it's be the equivalent of, say, two ants punching on, and then a tarantula comes along. They're like, well, obviously the tarantula's going to be like, whatever. But then also, if you lived in an entire society where you never really needed to. Yeah. When you had such advanced range technology, I mean, for example,
it's not just that they have the advanced range technology; it's just that they do they don't physically measure up to other species that do a lot of.
I think it's very similar to us currently, right? Like most people, like if we was, as in like current modern day human species, if we were to come up against, say, an invasion army that was melee based, we'd be fucked.
Yeah,
because
I think the concept of like go fight a gorilla.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Because our tech and our I guess aggression, or sorry, our effectiveness is all range technology. That's all it is. That's why our soldiers don't carry things like swords and stuff like that. It's like, why would you need a sword when you have a gun, right?
I mean, to be fair, it's one of the great like idiosyncrasies of Warhammer 40k is that this is a universe where technology exists to like snipe someone from several kilometers away. And what I'm going to go into battle armed with a chainsaw and a pistol.
But the thing, I think it's the durability, right? Like, I think, to be honest, we would do the same. If we were coated in armor, we would do exactly the same. You just would. You would have dedicated...
And look, there are a bunch of hand-wavy fluff justifications, and fair enough, like, it's awesome. That's why I love it. But it is also worth pointing out that it is one of those things you kind of have to, at some level, justify the fact that people have decided it's a valid way of waging wars.
Yeah, which is just whatever.
Which is awesome and hilarious. But anyway, so the one last thing I'll touch on the Tau and combat thing is that I think that there was some short story, and I'd love to find out where it is or something, where one of the Tau encounters a Space Marine and kills one for the first time. And it's like, it's just one of them. And they're like, we've killed the Emperor. This is amazing. because the amount of damage the Space Marine was doing, they're like, this is the Emperor. This must be this Emperor that everyone's talking about. And I love to imagine that one of the Tau present there then saw like a proper strike force deploy with like
the drop pods and
Marines.
everything.
And he gets his mate and he's like, are they also the Emperor?
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, Dave killed the Emperor. Oh, did he really? Come over here, Dave. Have a look at this. Dave, does that look like the Emperor to you?
Yeah.
So that's Emperor.
But also,
2.0.
on the side of that, if you got punched by a battle suit, you're probably not going to live.
Yeah.
To be fair,
100%.
stats wise, battle suits can punch on with like guardsmen stuff,
and they can do the shooting combat thing, which will be scary.
Yeah, and battle suits can punch on with Space Marines. It's still like they do. Stats wise.
No, I mean lore wise. I mean lore, right? Like so, like
I mean lore wise, they do as well.
Yeah,
they're cool, but
they're just not as fast.
Yeah.
But they can all innately fly, which is cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for broadsides. Can broadsides fly? No.
Yeah, they've all got. That's how they get there in the first place. They just can't. They can't shoot and fly.
I don't know.
They're not as heavily mobile during because they deploy and they deploy stabilizers and shit and just sit there and
they stamp their feet in the ground like in Dawn of War. Yeah,
exactly. So cool.
So cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Tau discovering like all the grimdark and like extra shit that all the other races do is amazing. It's one of my favorite bits of Tau lore is whenever they find something fucked up that someone else does.
What happens if we go through the warp? What happens if we go through space hell with no Gellar field?
Oh yeah. They're like, let's just send an entire expansion fleet into this open portal into what everyone else describes as hell, but we're sure is fine.
Yeah. I mean,
now we have Chaos Tau.
Wait, in
for
reality,
the channel, Chaos Tau, Red Tau, like with horns and
awesome.
stuff. Yeah, we can do that.
Their souls are so might as well be inert anyway. They probably could just walk through the warp and the demons would be like, whatever, go away.
Well, to a point. I mean, if they're going to fly loads and loads of them straight in, I mean, the demons are going to have a fun time.
I still don't think it's enough, man.
Yeah.
I seriously
don't think it is.
I mean,
it'd be like eating onion fries for them. It's not like
it's not bad, but it's not filling.
It's just this weird snack that you're just eating because it's there.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it'd be like eating bugs in real life, right? If you were starving, of course you.
Hey, look, you get some demons might be into that shit.
You get some protein. You have to, whatever. If you've got nothing else to eat, but are you choosing it? No.
Well, it depends. Like,
I mean,
it depends what country you're from. Some people eat tarantulas just cause.
I mean, funnily enough, the actual like protein to like size ratio of a lot of bugs.
Yeah,
is actually
a lot of bugs and stuff is fantastic. Yeah, they're really good
really
for you.
Good for you. Anyway, so we should all just eat bugs, everybody.
Yeah. So this is where this podcast ended up. I recommend Brooklyn Bugs. You over there, check out how to eat all your favourite tarantulas.
Hopefully we don't call the Tyranids.
Do you reckon we can smoke them?
Just eat them. What, tarantulas or Tyranids?
No, like if you put them in a smoker, you can smoke tarantulas.
I mean, I imagine so.
Yeah, of course.
They're usually fried, but yeah, you can.
I think maybe you probably do have to fry them to get like all the ick out.
And the hairs, right? Otherwise, it would be.
You've got to blowtorch them first to get rid of the hairs.
Oh, that's just mean.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. No, they're dead.
Kill them first.
You do the same thing with pork belly. You blowtorch pork belly to get the hair off.
Dude, spiders are cool, man. Don't kill spiders.
Yeah.
Unless they're whitetails, then 100% kill them because they're fucking retarded. So
the point of this was that Tau are cool, and they're terrible in combat, but they don't know that.
No, so yeah, the killiness and the durability is where we're at. So I think I do agree. I really hope. Look, they openly are, and when I say that, Games Workshop is openly making the game more durable by having neg 1 damage everywhere. You know, you're seeing it.
Neg 1 damage. The baby transhumans are all across the place.
Yeah, that's popping up a lot now. I thought I was special, and now everyone's got it.
Bro, don't even Death Guard. Poor Death Guard players. I feel for them so bad. It's like,
why? They just got PBCs just went down 15 points, and you're like,
There's nothing unique about Death Guard now. There's literally nothing.
Yeah, except for the Demon Primarch and
there's
all the faction support and.
I said unique.
I mean, look, you're still the only army that gets -1 damage across the board.
Yeah, but whatever. I don't know. Anyway.
All your I mean, look, your contagion ranges are still pretty unique. I still stand by. It's a cool rule.
The neg 1 toughness thing, but there are other places there are other things that do it. Sisters can do it. Admech can do it.
No, I mean like all your different contagion effects and shit you can give out through that. Like it's still a cool setup.
Yeah, that's alright. It's a cool mechanic. I wish it was doubled down a little bit better. It's just I wish it stayed unique and not just became generic. But look, overall, I'm not complaining about it because neg 1 damage as a durability buff for the game to hinder this whole massive killy thing, it works. You know, we've seen that. You know, like
I think on the whole, the game becoming more killy is a slightly more urgent issue than Death Guard not feeling as special.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
But yeah.
I think as long as they dial up the durability a little and then just don't get too heavy-handed with the killie again, we'll be in a good place.
They just got to be careful.
Yeah.
They're got to be really careful with it. And I think I've said this before on a previous podcast. They've designed themselves into a corner, or not necessarily a corner. They've designed themselves into a difficult position because they're kind of walking a knife's edge. Where if it's too killy, it's so turn 1 dependent. And you watch it like I have a feeling that there is going to be a huge turn 1 issue when Tau comes out because a lot of stuff is pretty much going to be I get turn 1, my hammerheads, my broadsides, my battle suits are just going to go and just you're dead, right? it's going to happen. We're going to shift into a infantry-heavy meta. There's going to be no vehicles taken. And that's...
I mean, look, to jump back to that Death Guard thing, imagine you rock up and you're playing Tau, or you're playing Death Guard, sorry, and you're going into Tau. You put down your Morty, your 3 Plague Burst Crawlers. You throw down your what are they? Black Lord Terminators and your Poxwalkers, and you're like, sweet, I'm here to play a cool game. And your opponent shows up and they've brought quite a fluffy list. They've got a couple of Hammerheads, a couple of Broadsides, a bunch of Crisis Suits, and a bunch of like Breacher teams or whatever, right? In Devilfish and stuff. Because it's a nice fluffy balanced list. They get turn 1. All right, Morty's dead. Your 3 Plague Burst Crawlers are dead. Half your Terminators are dead. Oh, that's like 1,200 points you've just lost in turn 1.
Yeah. I mean, even if you lose Morty turn 1, which you will, and I'm telling you, like, no one will as soon as Tau release, no one's going to take Mortarion ever.
Yeah.
No one's.
Which, I mean, on the flip side, is potentially a good thing from a narrative standpoint. But anyway, I digress.
Well, is this one of those situations though where I'm listening to what you're saying and my brain's going, what am I going to do when Tau hit the table? And I'm going to, like, if this meta shifts into exactly what you guys are talking about, how will I handle this? And I'll be going, well, I'm going to take one... I mean, in my instance, I would take Champion of the Feast out of my army to save a CP. And then I would put both my things into Deep Strike. Both my Vanguard Veteran Squads into Deep Strike instead of just one. And then I would put as much as I possibly could into Strategic Reserve, and then deploy the rest in cover.
Yeah,
and you just wouldn't take your Dreadnoughts. You just remove your Dreadnoughts entirely, because they're not going to score you points, because they're just going to be points.
But my Dreadnoughts can score me points. So I did it against you the other day. I made them call.
No, because they'll be dead. You won't. No. You'll move from your deployment. It'll be dead.
I mean, look, I think
you can still obscure them where there's no line of sight, right?
Well, not to Hammerheads that move 10 inches.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That fly, right? It's literally going to move. If there's 2 of them, they get moved from one side, the other side. Either 1 or 2 of them get lines of sight. If there's a Storm Surge or a Riptide, I'm telling you, like, you're not going to take vehicles. Period.
That said,
I've been suspecting since Chapter Approved is approaching that Terminators are going to come down, and I've been talking to you guys repeatedly about how I'm just so excited for Terminators, and I'm more than happy to get rid of Dreads.
And this is what I'm talking about. Durable infantry is going to be the new shift, I think. And look, to be honest, I think Games Workshop is doing this very, very. They're doing this very, very with intent. So they're decreasing
with intent to fix up their own fucker.
No. To sell models, they're decreasing decreasing tank points. It'd be vehicles. Everyone buy vehicles. Then we're releasing 2 armies that are just going to wipe vehicles off the table. And then after that, it's going to be infantry. Oh, big infantry. I mean,
6,000 points of Templar. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah. Release whatever you want. I've got it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for people who play,
and I mean, we are discussing like as well. We're talking about this from a turn 1 advantage perspective, without access to the full rules and without seeing how it all comes out.
That's what I'm saying.
There might be, and there will be counterplay, and there will...
Yeah, there will be.
Hopefully, it won't be as bad as we're discussing the worst case scenario for how this will play.
I feel like from turn 1, adjusting my list in that way, if that was to become the meta, that there would be things I could do.
Well, you would plan to have stuff you can have on the board turn 1 that you can hide that can then pop out and kill a Hammerhead or 2.
Yeah. Exactly. And
like that would be
Thunder
how you would
Hammers will be a big deal if you're a Space Marine player for that.
Hammerheads are very Thunder Hammerable.
Yeah.
They basically have big hit me with a hammer painted on the side. They're very nice.
Assault Terminators, Vanguard Veterans with Thunder Hammers. These sorts of things will hurt Tau.
The whole point of it being that I'm very interested to see how they're going to shift the durability, what the next kind of, I guess, prototype durability buff is going to be, and then also how far they're going to push this ignoring invulnerable saves on ranged weapons thing. It seems to be quite, from all the leaks and bits and pieces that are
prevalent
coming out,
in Tau.
Very prevalent in the Tau book, which is a little bit concerning, because it's going to push towards that,
the trick is just to play guard who don't run invulns anyway.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if knights get it, like on volcano cannons and other bits and pieces. Which is, look, I've always said it. If you're gonna make something powerful, make at least, just multiple things out there that are just as powerful, right? To at least at least give people the abilities to have counters. But then what I was saying before is they're walking that nice edge of, if you're too killy, it's turn one advantage. If you're too durable, you change how your game is like designed to be played, right? And then it kind of counteracts or contradicts the whole movement 9th edition multiple objectives things, because then it just becomes like 8th edition Custodians, where I'm just going to move and sit there and you can't kill me, and this is just boring for everyone, because unfortunately...
Right, so there is a balance to be found between those 2 points.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's more...
Where stuff can kill stuff and stuff can die, but you're not wiping half your opponent's army off turn 1.
I actually think we're sort of in that spot where we are now for a lot of the
I would argue that we're in the spot where we are slightly too killy currently.
Yeah, you're definitely too killy.
And I think you could rein it in. It doesn't need to be reined in a lot, right? It needs to be reined in just a little bit, as in, like, the new books need to stop getting more killy than the last book.
Yes.
And then just make sure that, a few subtle adjustments to durability here and there, just to make it, a bit more stuff can last, right? You can shoot a unit. You can instead of going, all right, here's my gun that destroys your entire unit. You go, here's my gun that destroys 75% of your unit.
I guess I'm talking from the new Black Templars book, which is exactly that.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. And I'm not saying that they should just, all right, give everyone baby transhuman. No, obviously not. Like that, I'm not trying to fix the whole thing with one brush, but just being aware of it and going, let's get to the point where you still have the capacity to do damage and to kill units and stuff, but you've got to work for it a bit more. And also making sure then that, you are rewarding not entirely killing but still damaging units. So much of the game is built around rewarding killing entire units, wiping entire units. And I think that itself then lends, if you're building the game where it's so killy that you can do that with ease, and then you're rewarding doing that, then you're rewarding the style of play, which is, in a certain extent, uninteractive, because you turn around, you go, I'm going to take that entire unit off the board, and it doesn't interact with the game anymore. If you tone the killiness down a bit, and then, just make sure that you don't even need to change the way you reward it with points and stuff, but just make sure that that units that are damaged still have a place in the game, but also make sure it's worthwhile doing just damage to units. There's this idea of shoot what you can kill that shouldn't be a core concept of how to play 40k, in my opinion.
Yeah, the other difference is you got to take the psychology into the element, right? So the psychological feeling of shooting something and killing it is more positive and makes players feel better, and more they feel like their sense of accomplishment and achievement than, oh, I just shoot into this thing and nothing happens. It's probably the worst.
Right, so you need, but I mean, the flip side, exactly. So you need to be rewarded for doing damage. You need to make a unit less effective. You need to do something like that. And again, like I reckon you could do a lot of this with a good psychology mechanic, which 40k does not have. But the flip side of that, because you're making a very good point, it feels good to shoot stuff and have your opponent lift models off the table. What it doesn't feel good is to put down your freshly painted models and then lift them off the table.
Yeah.
But imagine, and look, there is a trade-off there. And Vegeta are obviously going, well, they're trading off on the side of killing stuff is fun, and people who are losing models can just deal with it and buy more models. And, if that's a calculation they can make, fair enough. I would argue that it's perhaps more overall fun, net fun for everybody, shall we say. It's more net fun if I can kill 5 of your freshly painted Space Marines. I'm like, oh, that was cool. You've still got 5 there. But I'm like, yes, I did something that unit is less effective. Maybe there's, something going on there, whatever. But then you're going, oh, I lost my Space Marines, but I've still got these cool painted 5 ones here. They're going to go off and do this thing. And you can engage with both players, and both players can be enjoying that.
Yeah, the other key way I think that they can handle this whole, imbalance to do with efficacy of offense and reliability of defense is to have more systems that are reactive rather than precursors. You know, like being able to be defensive with a sense of fluff that is a non-generic way of doing it per unit or per whatever.
Like would a good example and stuff like that.
Would a good example of that be the reactive concept behind Kill Team?
Transhuman's a perfect example. Transhuman's a perfect example of just like systems like that are good. Okay, transhuman is good in context to say things that has to make sense. Personally, I think putting it on infantry unit is stupid, but putting it on, say, you know, like quantum shielding and stuff makes sense. Whatever. It's not the point. The point is, it's like reactive things kind of negates that lack of agency thing that you're talking about, Dalton. Where, oh yes, I'm being hit by something that's very strong. But hey, I have a way to at least decrease your chances or increase my chances of surviving. However the fuck you want to look at it, right?
It's not even necessarily about having the agency and whether or not you die or not.
No, but the agency that you're doing something. The agency has been like, I actually have something to do here, rather than I just die, right?
I mean, I see your point. That wasn't the point I was going for there. Like, it's not so much that I've got a problem with whether I can react to being shot at.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's more so just that.
That was my point. Like, I think that's a good way to counter that lack of durability. I guess to increase durability by having more systems. And I'm not talking stratagem. I'm talking anything. You could have like built-in army abilities.
Actually,
you could have
stratagems might be an interesting way to do that. Imagine if, like, purely hypothetical, add another core stratagem to the list that is like go to ground or something. Targets an infantry unit when that unit is targeted as an attack. That unit immediately gets like a -2 to wound or whatever, but can only move half its movement next time it moves.
Yeah,
or something like that.
They do a really good one in the Gene Stealer book. It's basically like if you're getting the benefits of cover, play this, you get +1 cover save. So it's just ignore AP 1 and 2. Essentially, is what you're doing in that. And
reduce AP by 2.
Yeah. And that's really good. I mean, that played out in our game, Ikon.
It did.
Where, it literally saved the whole unit. It didn't and that felt.
Was that
good.
the one at the back that I tried to shoot with the whirlwind?
Yeah. I could have failed, right? And I could have spent, but at least I still felt like I did something to mitigate it. And I think that's if they push towards that and have a little bit more of those reactive defensive abilities or stratagems or just contextual ideas in the books. It will help to negate this feeling that everything is super killer. It's one of the worst things about playing Drukhari, right? Is that you just don't get to do anything. Because
the best thing about Drukhari, the way the Drukhari book works, is that it trades up on everything, right? You throw a Drukhari unit in, it deletes whatever you target it at, and yeah, sure, it dies afterwards, but you've traded up because you've gone in, you've deleted stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So you have no answer.
And this concept of trading units and stuff, I don't think is healthy for the game, because it is this idea of, all right, yeah, I've got units that will just one-shot your stuff, and I in general I go, well, I don't like the concept that two roughly equivalent pointed units could wipe each other out if they get the chance to go into the other one first. I don't mind the idea of something being strong enough to auto kill a unit, but make that less common. Make that something you pay a premium for, and make it something that is feels more scales better with the game essentially.
Yeah, I think also the Drukhari issue was not only the trading problem, but it was just the quantity. So, like, you look. I
mean, that is the trading problem. The idea is you've got more of everything else.
Yeah.
Because it's so cheap.
Yeah.
Like, I can take a Drukhari army, right? I can build it a certain way, and I can 1-for-1 trade you units. I will wipe your army and still have units left over to do other stuff. And like that's the core issue of trading up across the army.
Yeah, trading up is referred to differently.
My points can wipe out your points more efficiently.
Yeah. Trading up is referred to differently in this. It's more of I have a cheap unit that can kill your very expensive unit.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not so much about quantity. It's just more about value of unit towards value of unit. And so and then it's double down.
Translates to quantity.
Yeah. It's cheap. It's double down because you have so much because it's cheap. So it's not only are you trading up unit to unit, you're also trading up everywhere. And then in a situation where, say, you might take, the good thing about the Black Templars list and the way Ikon plays it, he plays it very counter countercharge and very, very defensively, which is, you know, how he's figured out how to play the army and how his list works and that. So the problem is into most things that does work, and that's how it shows us something that's balanced, where it's all about how you position. We're like, cool, my unit can kill your unit, sweet, but I've now got this backup that's there. You didn't position well. Well, now I'm going to take this quarter of the board or whatever, and that's really kind of doubling down on how the strategic play should work, and that's good. But it's not good is when you have these double, triple, quadruple layers of just I can do everything everywhere all the time, and then you're like, this is just hands up in the air. Like, what's the point? You know,
and so back to the issue with this idea of trading is that it's not just that it's like a busted way for the game to work, but also in general, just the way that trading units, or just the way that feels to play, feels odd, and I'm not sure it's the best way for it to work. You don't want to be, you know, regardless of if Drukhari were well pointed or not. You know, let's say they perfectly balanced the points on it so that, you know, your unit of witches cost whatever it needed to cost to not be broken. You still don't want it to be a trading game. You don't want to be going, I'm going to delete your unit, and then you're going to delete my unit, and then I'm going to delete that unit, and then you're going to delete that unit, and we're just going to see how the points shake out by how we're doing other stuff on the board.
Well,
you want it to go into like
game though, right?
But that's what I'm saying is that the game currently, the core system is currently set up, and everything is so killy that's the game. If you reduce the killiness or increase durability, you know, have you managed that? If you balance those a bit better, you'd go, I'm going to attack your unit and do quite a lot of damage, and then you're going to counter that, and then we're going to have this back and forth, not just on points across the board, but in this little section where there's a smaller mini game of combats back and forth happening here, as opposed to just unit for unit back and forth.
Yeah, and you got to point that appropriately too. Like, you know, again,
yes, of course.
Does that really make a difference though?
Well, like, so this is what I was saying. It would if you have a point that does that. You know, like, you know, a way that you can score points for prolonged combats. Or like at this point now, you're talking about redesigning so much of the game to make that kind of structure work.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. Like, all I'm talking, and it's not to do with the way the game's balanced. It's talking about the way the game feels to play, and how much fun it is to play. And like the pure, the core thing that I'm going on is that just putting down and taking away entire units feels cheap, as opposed to putting down units and slowly taking models away from them.
I feel like this is a concept that hits new players really hard.
To balance it. Yes,
a concept that hit me really hard. I remember the first time I played Lawrence Knights, and I was like, "Ooh, this isn't good." Or even, you know, the first few games, and you're like, someone just went Alt F4 on all your models. And I think from that point of, you get better, and it just stops happening the same, right? Like, I mean,
well, it's more so you're prepared for it, and you can counter it and do it yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, getting used to it and getting better at it doesn't mean it should always happen in the first place.
That's me agreeing with you, saying that if there was a way we could address it to dial it back a bit, it would probably be better for the newer players of the game.
Yeah, and I would argue that older players would probably have more fun in the game overall by virtue of being able to interact with all of their units.
Exactly.
Or with more of their units.
But it would be more...
it would have a bigger effect.
User and new player friendly if what you were talking about became a thing, and if there was ways for scoring to be integrated into that concept, it would be cool.
Yeah, and I mean, like, all the talk about scoring and points and balance is purely like after the fact consideration of, all right, if we want to adjust the way, like the core way the game feels to play, we need to make sure then that is balanced as well. Therefore, you need to think about how it's pointed, and how you score it, and you know, incorporate that. Like, in the same way that and it's gone this way because the game is killy and you do delete units. Then secondaries have been written to reward doing that, which then further incentivizes making units killy, which further incentivizes using and making those secondaries work, and so on and so forth.
Unless you take to the last.
It's gonna be interesting. I think how they push the chaos stuff with the chaos demons, and then CSM, and then also how knights shape up in ninth is going to be quite interesting. See what they do to kind of change them, and then obviously Tyranids and Guard I think are going to be, if they're going to get the treatment that everyone else is getting in 9th edition, it's going to be really interesting to see how they change up. They will change up the whole game.
I think
and
Nids and Guard
to
is just going to be
conclude,
the first book of 10th edition.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Or 11th at this rate.
Yeah, maybe 11th.
Surprised.
15th.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and look, to wrap up this hour of bitching about shit that is kind of niche and not necessarily like a core thing.
I don't think we were bitching. I think we were talking about that.
I was definitely bitching.
Okay, I was bitching. I didn't feel like I was bitching. I actually I like, now that there's more books. My faction has got a lot of play. Like
Actually, very quickly. You mentioned earlier today.
Biggest showing at LVO.
And you mentioned earlier you're excited about trying a soup list. Yeah, what was the soup list with Nids and Gene Silicol?
Yeah, so
or the soup concept.
The soup concept would just be, and look, chapter approved might entirely derail this, but basically taking your Hive Guard and a couple big bugs in a Tyranids detachment, and then basically so relying on all the shooty to be in Tyranids and then all the combat to be in Gene Stilicols, taking Rock Grinders with Acolytes and the Gene Stealers in Gene Stilicols, because if you're souping, there's no way you're taking Tyranid Gene Stealers because the GSC ones are just better in every single way.
Yeah. And then you can also run whatever Astra Militarum stuff you need for Brood Brothers because you're no longer getting crossfire anyway.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you're just getting the best of
you could run
4 books.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. You could run Nids with a Baneblade.
Yes, that's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that.
But from a lore point of view, I can imagine this. I can imagine the Gene Stealer cult setting this up on a hive where they've got like a big trolley and they're trying to like roll in a Dimacheron unsuspectingly. And they've got like a tarp over it, and they're like, "What are you looking at?"
That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's pretty dumb. So
that's awesome.
I think seeing the fact that 46 players from LVO, I think it's the highest represented faction at LVO. It's 44 for Custodians and 46 for Tyranids, which is pretty awesome. I do think that look, there are so many builds now in Tyranids. There's standard Leviathan, there's Crusher Stampede, there's souping with GSC. Now the GSC book is out. There's a lot. The faction has, I think, a lot of viability and just a lot of options. I'm looking at using weird units as well, which
is awesome. I love it when people come out with come on, Raveners. They're going to happen, yeah.
They will. I think Raveners are
damn straight.
What are they?
That's awesome.
They're
like warriors with snake tails.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're awesome.
Yeah. And okay, forgive me for not knowing about bugs, but are they not a model already? No.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. They just don't see play because
they
suck.
All right. Yeah.
So getting,
I love it when units come out of nowhere and are just like, this is a thing now.
Having
That's
a
awesome.
3-wound model that can move 12 inches and deep strike and run units of 9 that has a 5-up invo and neg 1 damage. Sorry, not neg 1 damage. It's 5-up invo where normally they just have a normal 5-up save. It potentially makes you're essentially getting faster moving warriors that just aren't obsec, but with Leviathan you can
how do strikes play into that as well, because they're your other fast moving warrior.
You can't run them. You haven't been able to run them for ages.
Why not?
They're a Legends choice. They moved to Legends.
Fucking alright, look, staying positive at the end of this. That's fucking garbage is what that is.
Yeah, give me back my Chaplain Dread.
But
agreed. Yes,
staying positive at the end of this one. That's cool, man. That's a good list. We've got new options and stuff.
No, and look, realistic.
We're talking about things to improve, but we're enjoying the game.
I think it's on the right direction. I think it's gotten. But
they're doing a lot of the right things.
You look at the last year and the just Admech Drakari poos everywhere, and they've fixed it pretty well, and they're on the right direction. And now, like you said, they're on that knife's edge, but so far they've been doing okay. And I've been enjoying the game more.
So much fun. Yeah.
Because of the changes that they've made. And
look,
let's just see if they can keep it going.
We're going to have 2 more months of probably fun. Mark my words.
All right, here we go. Yeah.
We're gonna have two more months of fun, and then we'll have a month of trash, and then it'll clear back up again. It'll do the wave. It'll do the same wave. Where it'll be really good. It'll hit like it did at the very start of 9th edition, where it was really good. It was really balanced. I feel like that's where we're getting to. I think we may even be there now potentially. Where like we've got this. It's not just Admech Drukhari at the top anymore. It's it's their Orcs are there, Tyranids are there, Custodies are probably going to be there. I don't think GSC will be, but you've probably got
part of Tyranid lists.
But like overall, I think Grey Knights are still at the top. So you've even Death Guard are still there. Some Space Marine lists are there. So you do have quite an even spread of quality armies.
Necrons have got some spicy points drops.
And points drops too, huge contenders.
Which is another thing to talk about again next week.
So what'll happen? I think
next week on the Necron episode 000100.
We will see the edition balance back out again, and then they'll release. And then it'll be like pre-Drukhari. So then they'll release Drukhari, which is going to be Tau, and then they're going to release Eldar, which is going to be Admech, and it's going to do the same thing. It's going to go busted with one, and then even more busted with the other, and then they'll plateau back out again, and then it'll level out. That's my prediction of how it's going to go.
I mean, I want to say you're wrong about it, just because I want to be positive about the Eldar release because they're cool, but
I don't know. Have you seen the new Dark Reaper hats?
Right. You mean the old Dark Reaper hats? They were dumb when they were drawn, and they're dumb now. Yeah. I mean, okay, I like the fact that they're sticking back to the old Jez Goodwin sketches. I just don't like those sketches in the first place.
Quote sketch. He probably was like, "Yeah, this isn't what it's gonna be." He's like drawing. He's like drawing in the office, and he's like, not that one." And the intern got his hands on. He's like, "Yeah, this is what Jess said we got to print." And that's how that happened.
That's funny.
But look, we're having a lot of fun.
They look like emojis.
We had
seriously.
But yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it. We're having a lot of fun with the hobby. We're having a lot of fun with playing the game. Our new bat rep with the Gene Stealer Cult and Custodies was so much fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like it, and I can't wait to just be playing more games all the time. And I think that's a good positive note to end that one on.
Yes.
And the tournament's coming up, and that review will be sick.
Yes. So we've got 40K the way next week. Next Saturday, we'll be putting stuff up on Instagram. Locky will be doing most of that because I'll be over on a desk sorting out technical shizwas. But that's all going to be happening. We've got some cool stuff planned with a video for that as well, which we'll come to a bit later. So make sure to check us out on Instagram. Jump in the Discord. We'll be chatting and talking smack all the way up to the tournament and then during the day and all that kind of stuff as well. Or the event, sorry, not a tournament. The organised play event. We're making a very clear distinction there, which I keep forgetting. It's an organised play event, not a tournament. We're there to have fun. It's more of a casual sort of thing. It's going to be great.
It's so funny, and it's going to be great. And Dalton, please edit this out if this is not right to say. But I've been reading some of the lists, and people are bringing some pretty how you going lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, that can stay in. That's fine.
How you going? How you going? Like pants on head special? How you going? Or like?
Nah, like how you going? Like I'm here to win a tournament list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look again. Like it's still the idea of the organised play event is to be like an introduction to tournament play, like and to act as that sort of if you want to play at a tournament, come along and try it out.
Yeah.
It's a warm up.
It's just low stakes and like have a bit of fun, but try it out and see how you go. So bring some tough lists, bring some fun lists. Just come along prepared to have a fantastic day of 40k dice and bevs.
Yeah, that's it. Fun.
So I'm excited for it. I've got a shit ton of terrain to paint, so I'm going to leave you guys and chat to you guys next week.
See ya.